As a catcher who has received tens of thousands of pitches from major league arms, let me say this clearly. What Shohei Ohtani did on the mound today cannot be explained by any traditional baseball theory. The day after taking a painful hit-by-pitch on his throwing hand and leaving the game early, he stepped onto the field, launched a leadoff home run, fired triple-digit fastballs, and carried a no-hitter deep into the game. At that point, we are no longer talking about ordinary baseball. We are witnessing something that feels beyond the limits of the sport itself. But what frustrates me most is not the performance. It is the fact that a pitcher carrying an ERA barely above 0 and producing numbers rarely seen in baseball history is still not receiving the level of Cy Young recognition he deserves. How can a player performing at this level continue to be overlooked? Today, I want to break down exactly why Shohei Ohtani's pitching belongs among the greatest displays of dominance we have ever seen, and why his Cy Young case should be impossible to ignore. On May 27, 2026, the Los Angeles Dodgers faced the Colorado Rockies in the final game of their series. The atmosphere before first pitch was filled with concern. One day earlier, Ohtani had been struck on his right hand by a pitch and was forced to leave the game. For most players, especially someone whose hands are essential to both hitting and pitching, the expectation was simple. He would not play the next day. Many doubted he would even be able to swing a bat. Then came the surprise. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts announced just hours before the game that Ohtani would not only play, but would also take his scheduled turn on the mound. Fans were stunned. Opponents were skeptical. Yet what happened next instantly became part of baseball history. Leading off the bottom of the first inning, Ohtani stepped into the batter's box with a hand that was supposedly still hurting. The pitcher delivered a fastball, and Ohtani unloaded. The ball exploded off his bat at nearly 111 miles per hour and soared into the center field seats for a leadoff home run. It was a statement that echoed throughout the stadium. Pain? Injury? Doubt? None of it mattered. That home run was not just impressive. It was historic. It marked his second consecutive start in which he opened the game with a leadoff homer before taking the mound himself. In more than a century of Major League Baseball, nobody had ever done that. Before throwing a single pitch, Ohtani had already put his team ahead and completely altered the psychological battle of the game. Then he climbed the mound and delivered another masterpiece. Despite occasional command issues, Ohtani worked 6 innings without allowing a hit, surrendered only 1 run, struck out 7 batters, and lowered his ERA to a staggering level that seemed almost impossible for a starting pitcher. National media focused on his recovery and his remarkable two-way performance, but those who understand pitching saw something even deeper. Dodgers catcher Will Smith revealed that the true story was hidden beneath the box score. Ohtani was not at his sharpest mechanically. His release point was inconsistent. His command was not perfect. In fact, he walked multiple hitters and frequently worked from difficult counts. Yet somehow, none of it mattered. When lesser pitchers lose command, they get hit hard. When Ohtani loses command, hitters still cannot square him up. That is what separates greatness from dominance. Most athletes adjust their performance because of pain. The human body naturally protects injured areas. Hitters alter their swings. Pitchers change their mechanics. Timing suffers. Power drops. But Ohtani appears capable of separating physical discomfort from performance output in a way almost no athlete can. According to Smith, he may be the only player he has ever seen who can absorb pain and continue performing at maximum capacity without visible compromise. Think about what happened. A player hit on his throwing hand one day earlier returned the next afternoon and generated elite exit velocity on a home run while also dominating major league hitters from the mound. By every conventional standard, those two realities should not coexist. Yet with Ohtani, they do. His dominance begins with raw stuff. Against right-handed hitters, he primarily attacks with a blazing four-seam fastball and a devastating sweeper. The fastball reaches elite velocity, while the sweeper breaks dramatically across the plate. The challenge for hitters is that both pitches emerge from nearly identical arm action and release points. For a split second, they look exactly the same. By the time the hitter realizes which pitch is coming, the decision window has already disappeared. The result is chaos. If a hitter commits to the fastball, The sweeper disappears from the barrel. If he waits for the sweeper, the fastball blows past him. It becomes a guessing game, and guessing against Ohtani is rarely a winning strategy. Even when hitters make contact, the quality of that contact is often weak and harmless. Against left-handed batters, Ohtani introduces another layer of deception. He combines overpowering velocity with a sharply slower breaking ball, creating a massive speed differential. Hitters geared up for triple-digit heat suddenly find themselves swinging over pitches arriving nearly 20 miles per hour slower. Their timing collapses. Their mechanics unravel. Their confidence disappears. Perhaps the most impressive sequence came in the fourth inning. Ohtani struggled with command and found himself in trouble. Walks created pressure. Runners reached base. The game hung in the balance. This is usually where pitchers unravel. Instead, Ohtani reached for another gear. He elevated his velocity, attacked hitters more aggressively, and escaped damage while preserving the no-hit effort. It was the moment that revealed the difference between a good pitcher and a generational competitor. That is the hidden truth behind his incredible ERA. It is not simply the product of talent. It comes from adjustment, resilience, and an unmatched competitive instinct. On days when everything is working, Ohtani is nearly unhittable. On days when things are not working, he still finds a way to dominate. That ability to solve problems in real time is what makes him one of the most extraordinary players the sport has ever seen. And that is why the Cy Young conversation should not even be close. Awards are supposed to recognize excellence. If a player can hit home runs, throw no-hit baseball, overcome injury, and consistently produce numbers that belong in another era, then the discussion should begin with his name. What Shohei Ohtani is doing is not merely impressive. It is redefining what baseball players are capable of achieving. The scoreless streak was finally over. For the first time in weeks, Shohei Ohtani had allowed a run. His command was shaky, the pressure was building, and the innings seemed to be slipping away. For most pitchers, this is the moment where everything unravels. One mistake becomes two. Two mistakes become a disaster. But Shohei Ohtani is not most pitchers. What happened next left even Dodgers catcher Will Smith stunned. After surrendering a run and watching his historic scoreless streak come to an end, Ohtani faced the final hitter of the inning. Instead of retreating, instead of trying to survive, he did something extraordinary. He reached for another level. Smith later described it as watching Ohtani flip a switch and shift into a gear nobody else in baseball possesses. Against the final batter, Ohtani abandoned the breaking pitches and attacked with pure power. One fastball, then another, then another. 3 consecutive blazing heaters touching nearly 99 miles per hour. The hitter never had a chance. Swing and miss. Strike 3. In an instant, the threat was over. Smith could hardly contain his admiration. If his command isn't perfect, he simply overpowers you with velocity, he explained. Most pitchers lose confidence after giving up a run. Shohei does the opposite. He becomes even more dangerous. That sequence revealed everything about Ohtani's mindset. Those 3 pitches were not just fastballs. They were a statement, a message to the hitter, a message to the opposing dugout, maybe even a message to himself. They said, "You haven't seen my best yet." This is why Smith believes Ohtani is unlike any pitcher in baseball today. When things are going well, he dominates. When things go wrong, he finds another gear. When pressure rises, his performance somehow rises with it. That combination of talent, adjustment, and competitive fire is what separates the great players from the truly historic ones. Yet just hours after delivering 6 hitless innings while carrying a microscopic 0.82 ERA and an equally unbelievable 0.82 WHIP, a new controversy erupted across the baseball world. The latest National League Cy Young poll was released, and the results shocked many around the game. Despite producing numbers that seem almost impossible in modern baseball, Ohtani was ranked only 4th. Several pitchers received more first-place support, and the reaction inside the Dodgers organization was immediate. Many could not understand how a player dominating the sport at this level could still be viewed as an outsider in the Cy Young race. According to analysts and voters, the biggest reason was innings pitched. Because Ohtani continues balancing both pitching and hitting responsibilities, his workload on the mound remains lower than traditional starters. While other candidates have accumulated more innings, Ohtani's overall volume does not currently match theirs. But that explanation has sparked a fierce debate. Baseball legends have begun asking an important question: what matters more, quantity or quality? Is a pitcher who throws 200 innings with a respectable ERA truly more valuable than one who delivers historically dominant performances every time he takes the mound? Many former stars argue that Ohtani's numbers cannot simply be dismissed because of workload. An ERA below 1, elite strikeout rates, exceptional run prevention, opponents leaving games frustrated and defeated. Those are not ordinary statistics. They represent a level of dominance that baseball rarely sees. Smith strongly agrees. While other pitchers spend their off days recovering, Ohtani continues playing every day as the Dodgers' leadoff hitter. He is not just a pitcher. He is also one of the most dangerous offensive players in the league. Comparing him directly to traditional starters without considering the demands of being a full-time hitter ignores the reality of what he accomplishes every night. That has led to an even more controversial discussion. Some analysts have suggested the Dodgers should reduce Ohtani's offensive workload and place him on a traditional 4-day pitching schedule. The logic is simple. More starts would mean more innings. More innings would strengthen his Cy Young resume. If he maintained anything close to his current ERA while reaching the qualifying threshold, voters would have little choice but to put him at the top of the ballot. The idea has divided the baseball world. Supporters argue that a fully unleashed Ohtani on a standard starter's schedule could create one of the greatest pitching seasons ever recorded. Critics counter that sacrificing offensive production would weaken the very thing that makes him unique. After all, baseball has never seen a player capable of performing at an elite level on both sides of the game simultaneously. Fans quickly flooded social media with their opinions. Some compared the scenario to the final chapter of a sports manga, where the hero pushes beyond every known limit. Others insisted that voters were placing too much emphasis on innings and not enough on pure dominance to flee. Many simply could not believe that a pitcher carrying an ERA of 0.82 could be ranked outside the top 3. What everyone agreed on was this: Ohtani is forcing baseball to rethink its own standards. Every award in sports is built around assumptions. Assumptions about what players can do. Assumptions about how value should be measured. Assumptions about what greatness looks like. Shohei Ohtani continues breaking every one of those assumptions. He took a painful hit on his throwing hand and returned the next day to hit a home run. He battled inconsistent command and still threw 6 hitless innings. He surrendered a run and responded by overpowering hitters with elite velocity. He continues producing numbers that look more like a video game than real life. Whether he wins the Cy Young Award or not will ultimately be decided by voters. But for those who share the field with him, the verdict has already been reached. To Will Smith and many others around the game, Shohei Ohtani is already operating beyond awards, beyond statistics, and beyond traditional comparisons. He is not simply rewriting records. He is rewriting baseball itself. Years from now, fans will look back at this era and ask a simple question: was it really possible that one player could do all of this? For those fortunate enough to watch him in real time, the answer will always be yes. And that is what makes this moment in baseball history so unforgettable.